welcome into the round 4 U.S. Open Showdown show. Wanted to get a quick one out there, go over some things numbers-wise that we've seen from the first 3 rounds. Talk about the strategy difference between round 4 and with the finishing position being added in versus all the other rounds where Showdown-wise we don't have to worry about finishing position. It's even more important. We'll just hop right in. It's even more important in a U.S. Open round 4 of finishing position. So some things that we need to talk through there with, where's the leaderboard at? Not going to see as much scoring as, best round we saw out there today was 4 under, 3 under from Bryson. When you have rounds like that, not many birdies overall with the field being out there, it's kind of hard for somebody towards the back to score enough points to outdo somebody towards the front. Whereas usually I like to take the strategy of playing somebody, mid-pack that can shoot a really low score. Don't see that tomorrow. I want to anchor my lineup with some of these guys that I think are going to finish in the top 5. Definitely can still take some shots on some of these guys that are +4, maybe even +5 in some cases, because it is top 25 right now, I think. +4 is, let's see, +5 is T32, +4 is T25. So kind of like what we saw that today. +5 was the cut line. Now it's T32, cut in half. I would say that somebody shoots at +4, shoots even, they're going to be 15th, something to that effect tomorrow. I think that's, very doable. They shoot a few under, they're probably going to scratch out a top 10 for sure. So just probably going to have to find that one, maybe 2 people in that scenario, kind of like a Morikawa did today. He started at +4, shot, 4 under, got to even. Now he's sitting at top 10 at 9th. So think we could see something like that out of somebody mid-morning, but still going to focus on most of the lineup being built out by guys that are towards the top of the leaderboard. So going to go by tiers, but also going to sort by score here in a second and kind of talk through where the leaderboard is at. We'll start that way. So of course Bryson at the top of the board. That messed up Tom Kim. Anyway, Bryson top of the board -7, 3-shot lead. Going to be mega popular, but for good reason. 10-6, 3-shot lead, favored to win the tournament by a pretty solid margin over Rory. And, I think he's definitely got to be in your pool. Probably going to be a core play for me. I don't see how to go around him. When you've got, the 3-shot lead playing so well, he scores. He's going to make you some birdies more than likely tomorrow. He might play a little more conservative, but I think, overall that's just not in his DNA. So I think he goes out there and still makes some birdies tomorrow. 3 or 4 birdies and a win is probably going to be enough with the finishing points there. So after that, you've got the trio at 4 under of Rory, Cantlay, and Pavon. Rory, if you look at today's round, he gained a lot off the tee, not much on approach, not much anywhere else except for off the tee. Shot 1 under. The irons were kind of bailed out by a few really good shots. And, I don't know that I want to go there at 11-5. I don't know how well lineups parse out with Rory and Bryson together. So there's a chance that I just completely skip this T4 or T2 range at -4 of Rory, Cantlay, and Pavon. I haven't liked Cantlay all week. He continues to play pretty solid. He's up to 9,700 now. Kind of did it all with the putter today. Scratched out the score, and then Pavon. He hit the ball really well today, but looked a little shaky. 7,800. He's still a fine play. Just because of the finishing position upside, but there's some other plays that I think I'd rather take a shot on than somebody in the final group of a major for got to be the first time. So I'll probably skip this range in my main lineup. You drop down, the last four people that are under par are Obear, Matsuyama, Finau, and Hatton at 2 and 1 under. Obear, I think he hopefully got some of those nerves out today. Looked a little shaky, 3 over, gets back down to -2, 5 back now. He's definitely going to play freer. Not as many eyes on him initially. Still, hit the ball pretty well today. It was just the around the green game there, really just the one hole that hurt him. So, to me, I think he's still a fine play. And 10-2 is a little more doable if you want to pair him with Bryson than like a Rory at 11-5. The next group, Matsuyama and Hatton would be my two favorites of the rest of the under par guys. Matsuyama continues to hit the ball really well. Gained in every part of his game today, but approach was the best. Hatton, he's really been hitting the ball with his long irons well all year. On live, some of the stats that we've been able to pull, out of there showed that, and he's continued that this week. Gained almost 3 on approach today. I think he is probably one of my favorite plays under 9K. So more than likely, my core is going to start Bryson, Hatton, and filter in around Xander. Let's go to the even guys. Morikawa, who shot the low round of the day, and he did it a lot with his putter. He gained 5 strokes putting. I'll probably fade that going into tomorrow. Connors, he's hitting the ball really, really well. Lost slightly with approach today, but overall for the week, positive. Just kind of overall been just steady so far this week. 1 under, even 1 over. I think he's definitely in play at 86, but probably more of a secondary option to me. And then Tom Kim, who hit the ball probably the best of the day, number 1 on approach for the day, gaining almost 5 strokes. Obviously had some outlier shots in there with his irons. He lost off the tee and around the green to shoot 1 over, actually. 8,200, T9, I think, you're looking at an outside shot for him. I think top 5 is definitely doable. Love the way that he was playing coming in here, and love the way that he's continued that through the week. So really like Tom Kim. Moving to the over par guys, you got Xander at 11K. He's been really good tee to green as well. The price tag is kind of tough, but I think he will be lower on than a guy like Rory. Just kind of looking at some things in the top range. You're probably looking at, let's see. Yeah, Xander probably half the ownership, it looks like, from what I'm seeing of Rory. So I think that's an interesting play because most people are just playing Rory because of maybe the win upside or the finishing position starting T2, whereas Xander saves you $500, starts at T12. They could end up the same or flipped by tomorrow at the end of the round. I don't think that's a super outlandish take. So I think that's a good tournament play, Xander. The rest of the one over guys is Sergio, Pendrith, and Aaron Rye, all under 7,500. Rye shot one of the better rounds of today with a 68. Let's see how he did it. Really everything. I mean, irons, putting around the green, a solid, just overall solid round for him. Sergio, like the way that he's played so far this week, ball striking it around this place, gained 2 strokes ball striking for the week on average. 1.5 today. Lost with the putter. I think Sergio's a very good play that could shoot right around par again, which would move him into the top 10 for sure. Pendrith, like the way, again, that he's hitting it, tee to green, just an overall solid day, shooting even again today. 7,100 for him. I think we can definitely go there. Moving to, I'll kind of skip around this range here, this 2 to 4 over range. So this is where, you get to the guys that don't really have a chance to win. A solid round, though, is going to get them. I mean, some of these guys could even get into a top 5. If they shoot, a better round of the day, get to even par, I think that's got a chance to be maybe not top 5, but probably top 7 for sure. Bhatia, really like his, the way that, he's played here in the past, just not, of course, competitively, but he's been here, he's seen this place, and it's translated into the week. 3 over today, lost with irons. Overall for the week, still playing, really good. Overall, I think he's a fine play at 79. Sam Burns has been, ever since the start of Thursday, those first 6 holes, he's played really, really well. Even par since then. He's done, it feels like to me that he's done a lot with his putter recently, the last 2 days, but he did lose with approach very slightly. Again, though, you get a guy with that putter, it can help him get out of trouble sometimes, make those 10-foot, 15-foot par saves, and then he can make some birdies if he can give himself a few chances. So I like Burns to close this thing out, get him in around the top 10 tomorrow. Puig is an interesting guy, 6,500 if you need some value. He's played really well the last 2 days after shooting 6 over in round number 1. He went 2 under and 1 under today, gained everywhere. So Puig, I think, is an interesting tournament look. Hubbard, same type of deal. Played well the last 2 days after struggling in round number 1, gaining everywhere pretty much. Minwoo he's got 76 plus 4 T25. He's one of these guys in this range that I think can score. He's a big birdie maker when he's on. He drives the ball great, and he's done so this week. He's gained a stroke on average off the tee per day, 1.3 today. Lost with approach. If he can get that putter rolling tomorrow, get some solid iron play in there to go with that driver, I think he's very, very live to shoot one of those 3 under rounds that gets him to +1, which would definitely put him in the top 10. So I think that's a fine play there and should be pretty low owned. Shipley, the amateur, 6,300. Really impressed with what I've seen from him. And, he gained a lot off the tee today. And then when you look at his approach and putting, he lost a lot on his raw strokes gain number, gained a lot with the putter. But if you dig in a little bit, it was kind of not as extreme. He had a couple loose shots with his irons that cost him a lot, and then he had a couple really good putts that gained him a lot. So he probably didn't putt as well as the number indicates, but he didn't hit his irons as bad as the number indicates, and was really putting himself in play off the tee, gaining 2.25. So I like him to continue. He got that experience at the Masters, and has continued that play here. I think he's a fine option here, and again, shouldn't be very. None of these guys, I don't think, are going to be very low or high owned. Bez at +5, I think you could go there. Let's see here. Fleetwood, if you think he gets going, very solid round today, shooting even. If he does that again, he's probably going to get inside the top 20. Can he shoot a few under is the question. I think he's got the upside to do that. But then, he's going to be low on because you start getting in that range that same thing with like a Cam Smith. Those guys are in the upper eights where you got people that are starting well ahead. But don't be afraid, especially in the big GPP, to take some shots on some of these guys, because if you land on the guy who shoots 3 under like Morikawa did today, he's going to be needed, because he's going to move way up the board from T30. 3 under par is going to get him into the top 10. So definitely don't be afraid to take some shots on some of these guys. Last guy that I'll touch on, and then we can kind of play around slightly with some builds. But if you look at the iron play stats, Tom McKibben, I think he's playing with Scotty tomorrow, gained 2.74 today with the irons. It was, his best iron round of the week. Can he continue that beside the number one player in the world tomorrow? I don't know. He's hitting tons of fairways. We'll see, how he closes this thing out, but he's not going to have pressure on him. And he's, +6, even par, 1 or 2 under might be enough at this price tag, 6,400. So that's kind of where I cut it off. Don't want to go in, the +8s, +7s. Maybe somebody in that range, because they're going out early, shoots one of those 4 under rounds, and does it for you. But, to me, I would rather stay maxed out at +5, +4, somewhere in there to finish out my lineups. All right, let's play around with a few builds. I already mentioned some of the things here with Bryson probably being a core play. Let's get this taken care of. Sorry, the model was messing up there. So let's play around with some builds. So Bryson, Hatton. That's kind of the start I'm looking for. Leaves you 7,600. So you got if you want to jump down to the cheap range, you got like a Pendrith at 71. Let's see some of the other guys down here. Really like Puig. Let's just throw one of these range. This is all, any of these would be very similar. But if you throw Puig in there, get you back to 8. Then you could probably play. I'm really liking this Minwoo play to maybe grab some upside. Get you back up to 82. You could play, Tom Kim and Batier or Burns. You could go up a little higher to a Hideki, and then probably have to come back down to a Pendrith. I think you could do that. That would be interesting. Yeah, leaves you 9,400. You could get back up to Hideki. Finau, if you like him, I think is in play too. If you try to play, probably would need to skip out on Minwoo if you wanted to get back up to like a Aubert, or let's just try to play the Xander combo. And doesn't really work out as great with that core. So I'll probably be staying off of the double big stud, but if let's see, Aubert, you can get to him 6,800 leaves, where you could play a Puig, and maybe another one of those 6K guys, Hubbard, McKibben, Shipley. Probably just going to have to drop off of like a Hatton. If you were double studding anybody up there, you probably have to come off of Hatton potentially if your second one is Bryson there. And maybe you do like a Bryson, Aubert, and then Tom Kim instead of Hatton would get you another 600. And I think that would be definitely an interesting way to go. So if you went Ludwig, let's see, with this same team, and then you did Tom Kim, 7,400 for the last spot, leaves you right on Sergio. You could play like a Jaeger if you wanted, somebody in that range, Rye, Harmon. Yeah, so I think some of those are interesting, but for the show, I'm going to leave. This is my initial core, would be Bryson and Hatton. I'll have the last two spots up here in just a bit. Good luck to everybody tomorrow. If you have any questions, drop them into the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. Yeah, not a problem, Casey. Excited. I'll be up super early in the morning, heading down to watch the final round. So excited for that. Going to try to get there pretty early. Maybe I'll follow, a guy or two that I have early in the morning, around 10 o'clock or something till the leaders tee off. So excited for that. Good luck to everybody for round 4, and we'll see you next time.